Good morning and welcome to today's webinar. I'm sure, like me, you're all looking forward to learning how secured signing is able to solve compliance and workflow challenges with eSignatures. My name is Bill Dawes and I'm publisher and editor of Information and Data Manager, where these topics are of ongoing focus and investigation. Today, I'm delighted to introduce Gal and Geoff from Secured Signing, who will be outlining and demonstrating how to integrate digital signature technology into your existing systems. Geoff Thompson joined Secure Signing in 2017 after 8 years of sales and leadership experience in the banking sector. Joining as the fourth hire to the company, she's led the customer growth strategy of the business. Gal was appointed CEO in 2021. Also with a lengthy background in the banking sector, Geoff Thompson spent more than 10 years working with corporate customers at Westpac. Now a Secured Signing, Geoff tells me he has a natural interest in digital transformation and how it can improve efficiency and productivity, boost the customer and user experience, and reduce errors and costs. Now we have a lot to get through in today's session, so I'll turn things over now to Gal and Geoff. Please feel free to submit any questions in the question box at the right as we go through the webinar, and we'll leave time to answer them at the end. Welcome, Gal.
Thank you, Bill. I will kick us off and hand it to Geoff.
Yeah, thank you, and thanks, Bill, for the introduction. Yeah, so just a bit of an agenda for today. In the next 45 minutes, I want to share just a little bit about who Secured Signing is, and then the bulk of the conversation will be around solving compliance and workflow challenges that your organisation has, and how digital signatures and digitising your document workflow plays a part in solving for some of that. We'll share a couple of case studies and provide a demonstration of our software, and within that demonstration, the eye should light up around what's possible with digital signatures. In short, with our technology, capturing the signature digitally is obviously the key part, but just as importantly is efficiencies and increase in productivity gains around moving documents efficiently, which you gain with the digital process. And obviously we'll have some Q&A at the end, so as Bill mentioned, feel free to write some questions down in the question box on the right hand panel. Next slide, there you go. I just want to step back a bit around digital transformation in general. As Bill introduced, I'm Secured Signing Enterprise Sales Director and have a lot of conversations with New Zealand and Australian organisations in the public sector or outside, and there's a lot happening. And my message today is about Secured Signing and digital signatures. It's simple. From the conversations, work today is tough enough with, you run complex operations, you have massive amounts of information to navigate, with a workforce being increasingly powered by and assisted by technology. And you're doing a huge amount to digitally transform, upgrading systems to the cloud, upgrading old systems, implementing new ones. It's not an easy task. With digital signatures and secured signing, sort of the catchphrase I sort of want to leave you with is, with your digital transformation, to plan big, but start small and learn along the way and then repeat. And I think digital signatures really fits well into that. It's an easy implementation, software is easy to use, but it has a big impact in solving for both simple and complex signing processes. And when you move your documents into a digital process, it really does open up a key part of a digital process and transformation. But it doesn't need to be major change management. It doesn't need to be something that you block budget and time in your technology roadmap. It's a quick win where you start small and roll out from there through the organisation. So that's one of my key messages, really. Now, to touch on secured signing, we're a world-leading cloud digital signing and online forms platform, and we're made available to all. What I mean about that is we're an enterprise-designed software, cloud-based, but due to our pricing plans and the way we engage with customers, we work with both small and large organisations, and with many we start with small, you know, that sort of 10 users, 1,000 documents, that sort of volume, and as I say, that keeps the implementation simple, and then as the organisation learns, it can expand our software from there. We have customers globally in over 45 countries. We have most of our staff here in New Zealand, including all our development work, but we have sales and customer facing teams in the UK and the US as well. Our technology, without getting too much into that, is based off public key infrastructure technology, which is unique and the highest level of security in the digital signature world. Gal will discuss more about that in our demo. The key industries in which we work are government, recruitment, and HR, finance, legal, and in the US, which is more specific, is in the notary world. And the reasons for those industries are that, you know, they take document signing seriously, you know, and records management and compliance with their documents. Next slide, please, Gal. So I remember when I was taught how to do presentations, it was around not putting too many words on a slide, and now I've gone and done that. But I did just want to summarise, you know, what does secured signing do? And in summary, we digitise. So we take your manual signing and document processes at the moment, and we digitise it. And that's when you require a signature or a form to be filled out. Documents need to be reviewed, or witnessing of documents is required. And that's what we do. And what this does is it makes life easier when sending out documents for signing, and gives you visibility over the process. It speeds up turnaround times. We send automated reminders. We have reusable templates and our form filler functionality. And the software solves for simple to comprehensive signing processes. The benefits of digitising documents and capturing signatures digitally is high business resiliency. So, and things like, you know, disasters or, you know, floods, fires, the software cloud-based will still perform. Pandemics, I suppose I should mention, although we're trying to move on. So yeah, working from home, working from remote locations, it really strengthens that side of your business. And obviously we're, you know, looking to increase productivity, be a really reliable, secure platform for your business, and lower costs and improve compliance through document accuracy and records management practice. So that's what we can do. Here's some of our customers. As you can see, a number of public sector customers, as well as large corporate clients in New Zealand and Australia. Yeah, and that's where we spend a lot of our time. So I did just want to pause now and you know, so you can realise I've sort of shared a fair bit of information already, but just to ask the audience a question. So what I'd like you to do, you know, the question is, what are your biggest compliance and workflow challenges at the moment? And in the chat box on the right panel of your screen, if you can just type in, you know, your answer to that question, and we can have a bit of a chat about that. Okay, so I can see, yeah, chat here around documents not being saved back to your EDRMS, and that's a common comment that comes up in my conversations. And we can talk more about that later, but through digitising, we just see an increase in records management practice, particularly when integrated into your EDRMS, so the user never has to leave that environment, and when the signing is complete, the document automatically comes back to that system, so that your records management practice increase. So good, yeah, good point. another point here, people using all sorts of signing practices may not be legally robust. Yeah. So yeah, potentially since COVID, we see all sorts of signing processes, whether it's email approvals or JPEG images dropped on top of documents, which we know can be tampered with or edited post that without any audit trails. So yeah, and I think that links into, probably the organisation not really having a document or signing policy within the organisation. So people just sort of make up their own policy of what's required when it comes to signing and approval processes. And I'm sure from a compliance point of view, you're sort of asking yourself, would that pass an audit? Is it really meeting our requirements under various acts and rules and regulations? So yeah, that's cool. Oh yeah, we'll move forward, but if you've got any you want to write in either the chat or question box along the way, then feel free to do that. So now we want to get to how to solve your compliance and workflow challenges with e-signatures. And I'm just going to pass over to Gal on this one, tip number 1. Gal.
Hello, thank you. Yes, so this is more around the compliance point, I think, is choosing there's a lot of, when you are going to be digitally signing a document online, there is a bit of confusion about terminology. So people often say electronic signature, digital signature, and you think they mean the same thing, but in fact they don't. So an electronic signature means there's lots of different ways that you can electronically sign a document, even like a tick box in some things, or that you're accepting something is called an electronic signature. Digital signature is sort of the top level, or the best, most secure way of signing documents, which is what we do. And within digital signatures, typically you're using the PKI standard, which is the Public Key Infrastructure Technology Standard. And within that, we use the premium user-based PKI, which means that every signature and every signer for every unique document gets essentially its own fingerprint. So every signature within the document is unique, even if it's the same signer, but they're signing in multiple places. What using our PKI user-based digital signature technology allows you to do is a couple of things. You're sealing the document with the very first signature. So you're locking the data. And what that means is that if it was to be tampered with, and even though a document is in a PDF, you can still edit a PDF document. If things were to be edited after the first signature has been placed, that signature will become invalid. And you see that within the document itself in a PDF reader offline. You don't need to be connected to the internet or anything like that. It's supported in any PDF reader, which is important for our customers. You want to have build trust between you and the other party, and that's where digital signatures come into play. That's what we do. We build the trust between two parties, that that this is the version and the document that you agreed, and the clauses, the terms, whatever that you agreed to sign, and the signature itself validates that the document hasn't been altered. What that means, because our verification is done within the document, is that we don't keep a copy of your document. So this is a really big point of difference. With electronic signatures, you don't have everything that is listed on there. Electronic signatures are just an image that is placed on top of the document. It has no relationship to the content of the document. You can alter it, and the signature will remain valid. And also the signature image can actually be copy and pasted, which you can't do with a digital signature like ours. But with document storage, with us, we don't keep a copy of your document, and that has been like that since we launched 13 years ago. Whereas with other document signing platforms, they keep a copy of your document forever. And the reason for that, they cannot validate that the document or verify that the document hasn't been changed in the document itself. So they do a version control. They compare the document they have on their file versus the document that you have today, and they see whether there's a difference. So a real benefit of the PKI digital signatures is that we don't keep a copy of your document. We give it to you, and then you keep it and you don't need us. So it's your document independent of the signing platform that you've used.
Thank you, Gal. And I do see some questions rolling in, so thanks very much for that. We'll come back to those in Q&A. Some of them we'll probably answer in our demo, but certainly won't forget about those and just keep posting them in there, and Q&A at the end we'll address them for sure. Thank you. So tip number 2 is more around the workflow challenges that probably does link to compliance somewhat, is a digital transformation. So shifting from a manual process to a fully digital process. And with the software, you can set up workflows that will automatically send the right forms at the right time. As I mentioned, you get visibility over the documents, and through settings in our admin portal, you set that up, with however your organisation would like, but can set them up per department, so or per team. So if document owners are away, someone else can step into that process and keep the document moving. You can arrange for two-way data flow. So information that you have in other systems are automatically brought into documents and then sent for signing, and that just improves workflow sort of automation, but also compliance, that it reduces errors of manually typing into documents, etc. You can create reusable templates and signing workflows. So if it's the same task done over and over, we can create templates which are within 2 clicks sent out to a signee or invitee to sign a document really easily. And again, I've discussed through integration with your document management system, on signing completion, the document automatically comes back to that platform to increase records management practice. If that integration isn't set up, the document owner would receive, and the signers would receive, an email to say it's completed, as well as the document being in our platform, so it can be saved from there into your document management system if that extra step's required. One of the great advantages, obviously, of a digital process is that traceability and audit log. So we provide you with a signing completion certificate, so the exact journey that document's been on, time, date, who's seen it, who's reviewed it, who's signed it, any touch from any user essentially forms part of that audit trail. And due to the visibility, where your documents are. So if there's multiple signers, where there might be a bottleneck. If 3 have signed, but it's taken a couple of days for the 4th person to sign, that's great. And also with the digital process, you can set up workflows such as internal, middle management signing documents before going to senior management, etc. So it really does open up many benefits from a workflow perspective. We sort of touched on this, but we sort of labour this point, but integration, it sort of means automation and can remove manual friction. From a change management perspective, the users remain in systems they already know how to use, whether that's Content Manager, SharePoint Online, so the list goes on, but also simple integrations such as Microsoft Word and Outlook. And what that means is that with the integration set up, a secured signing button comes within the top ribbon within, say, Microsoft Word or Outlook, and send the document for signing from there, using our software to be sent. So from a workflow perspective, the tools are all there to set up really easy signing processes. And again, whether that's simple, I'd send it to one person to sign and return to me, or more complex in terms of multiple signatories, but you want to send it in different orders, and maybe someone needs to review the document first, etc. And I've said this twice already, I'll say it again, it does increase records management accuracy. Tip number 4 is to engage your business partners. We see the most successful implementations of digital signatures is when the solution is business partner driven. And coming back to my original point around it's simple, often we have business partners who are really keen to use the software, and through our pricing and plans, we're able to give access and that to a low level, cost effective way of starting to move towards digital signing. And the users who really want to use the software to their benefit, they're probably the people who are really bound down by manual print, sign, scan, save type processes, or people who are needing signatures from, well, we're all busy, but senior management, and getting hold of them or sort of interrupting their day just to get a signature on a page manually in an inbox or in tray is challenging and a bit of friction. Well, these are the sort of people that can kick off with digital signatures at your organisation. It's important though that we understand your workflow processes, what the users are going to be doing, so we can show you the features and functionality of our software to make that as easy as possible. You do, as I said though, I think it's important to plan big. So whilst you may start small, plan big. So look for a solution that is an all-in-one digital signing platform and can solve for complex problems. And I don't want to go on with a list of our features now, but we have been in operation for 12 years, so have a very deep and wide document workflow processes and signing capabilities, which means whatever department or your use case our software can solve for, including things like video signing for witnessing, notarizing, the list does go on, and it's important to think about the wider organization, whilst not be implementing from day one, may require some pretty unique processes. And as I said before, we set up enterprise security and management, so how you give access to teams and individuals to use our software and what rights they have to different documents really does help the organization with its compliance and document movement. Cool. As I say, any questions, keep putting them in the box. Sort of one of the downsides of a webinar is, so I'm doing all the talking, but we'll definitely have time for questions at the end. Just want to touch on 3 case studies very quickly. This is Lockyer Valley. This is an example of a customer that started with us and has grown to use our software across their whole organisation. And one of the great things they talk about is the traceability and audit logs and our signing completion certificates being invaluable for records management. So they get saved into the record, and for all time that has the record of signing, and it's great from a compliance perspective. And also they've set up their workflow features so that they've automated some of the handling of documents going to the right teams at the right time.
Hello, me again. So with Matamata Piako, they have been using, again, from a compliance perspective, able to use digital signatures for all contracts, but for them it was really important for the high dollar value or more sort of high risk or high importance documents that they had the identity of who signed and when, and the audit log, as Geoff mentioned. The other benefit, or what they've said, they really enjoyed the savings that they made, and that was one of their goals in terms of going digital. So prior they would print, a lot of copies, and then they'd actually drive around to all of the councillors and the democracy team to get the minutes signed, the council minutes, etc. So by going online, they actually were able to, the product paid for itself and a lot more in terms of the financial benefit that they gained from it.
Thanks, Gal. And last quick case study was Byron Shire. Again, a council that started with one department who was sort of crying out for a digital process because they could really see productivity benefits as well as the security they required over the process. And then they've rolled the software out across the organisation. And one of the things they really liked about us was our in-person customer support to achieve this. So they came to secured signing because they talked to another council who had dealt with a competitor of ours, a large tech company, and had trouble sort of with their help and support. What they really liked is how we guided them through, not just obviously with the onboarding, but ongoing customer support. So as they expanded into different departments with different use cases, they would check in with us on the best way to use our software, and we're able to just sort of have a 30-minute call and show users this would be the best way to do it, and this is how we'd set up your access, etc. So that, you know, we really do like working with customers through their journey with digitising, because as we know with sort of digital transformation, you can't get it right from day one, or you know, it's a crossing all your T's and dotting all your I's isn't really what happens. It's sort of that waterfall approach of starting somewhere and then learning and making and working from that point and expanding from there. And nothing happens in a linear fashion, does it, in terms of our systems and processes and software and our technology we use. We need to be adapting and changing as software grows, and that's no different to our company as well. So another question, if you can, well, either in the question or but maybe the chat box, can you name what use case and process? So if you can think of one just off the top of your head for a use case and process you could digitize to improve your compliance and workflow challenge, just yeah, type that into the chat box and we'll have a bit of a chat on that one. Thank you. So yeah, if we go to the next screen, yeah, see a couple coming in now. So one of the things, the sort of the use cases are endless, and that's what I like about secured signing. You know, is we try and summarise what our use cases are, but we get the most left field and the most obvious document signing use cases. So it is a pretty broad range. Some of them, though, to dial into sub, you know, HR is a big one for new hires or onboarding people into the organisation, or if there are internal HR updates or timesheet approval, you know, approvals, etc. We deal with legal departments, typically around NDAs or contract signing. Procurement teams and supplier registration forms is one that's often templated and built in that way, as well as purchase orders. You know, and then the finance team. We also have community notifications, things like dog registrations, meeting minutes, you know, sending around councillors and councils or senior management and organisations, getting internal approval, sign off. So, you know, the list goes on, whether that's internal document movement and signing or sending out to your customers or external parties and stakeholders and suppliers. Yeah, the use case list goes on. So that's enough of our talking. As I say, I see the questions rolling in. We'll come to them at the end. Want to hand over to Gal for a demonstration of secured signing.
Thank you. Thank you, Geoff. Let me just move this over here and log into secured signing. Okay, so I'm going to log into my account and I am a sender of documents. So in my role, I'm tasked with preparing documents to go out for signing. It might be for, as Geoff mentioned, internal or external signers or both. So you can do the signing process for both ends. But my role is a sender. So I am the owner of the document and I will receive all of the notification and manage the signing process. Because we don't have much time, I'm going to keep it relatively simple, the signing process that I'm going to demonstrate, but I will touch on some of the more advanced features that we have as well. So to start off with every signing process, whether it's through an integration or in our platform standalone, we need to know the document or documents that you need to send, as you can do a package as well. So you start by adding your document, and I'm going to upload my NDA. So I've got an NDA here. If I selected the wrong one, I just remove it and start again. I'm going to click upload. And then from this button, I have the ability to sign it myself, to do what we call an iSign. I can also invite others, which is a we sign process, which is what I'll demonstrate. But just as Geoff mentioned, we've got templates and also video signing, when you can do an all-in-one video conferencing and signing with a record of the audio and the video itself, which is really common for witnessing. So I'm going to click invite, and that is going to take me into the invitation preparation model. So I am going to first add my invitees. I'm going to go to the page that I need to do it, and I'm going to click add invitees. Now we have two types of invitees. So you have signers who need to sign and viewers who need to view. So you can select the role of the person, and this is again for compliance. If you need to show that somebody has viewed the document but not necessarily needs to sign as part of your approval process, you can do a needs to view. You might also have a situation in a package where you might have 3 documents, 2 of them need signing, and the last one, or the first one, just needs to be viewed, but you need to show that it's been viewed. This is where the needs to view button becomes really useful. A last example is if you need to capture information but no signatures, that's when you would do the needs to view as well. I'm going to demonstrate the signing, so I'm going to add a signature, and I'm going to type in my invitee details. So that includes the first name, last name, and email address. So that's the 3 information that you need. I'm going to click add, and now I've got this signature box, which I can put in the right place. I can make it bigger or smaller, and I can also select what type of information I want within the signing box. So do you want to include the date and the name inside the signature box to be visible on the document? If you don't, then you untick that. You could also select from a full or an initial signature. So I'm going to go back and I'm going to add another signature box for Greg, but that's going to be an initial over here. And with a few clicks, you can actually do it that if you've got a really large document, I can have an initial on every page. So if I go to page 2, there's an initial there, and page 1. I can also move it over on page 1, but it stays in the same place on page 2. What this is really useful for, teams that you're preparing large contracts and you need to put a signature on every page or lots of pages, you can do it quickly without it being too time consuming. We do have some more automation, like using signature templates to make things faster, but I'm just showing you the basics today. You can also add form fields on the fly or use templates, as Geoff mentioned. And we also support bulk sending of documents for signing using the broadcast signature. So you can send the same document for many signers all at once, but they each receive their individual copy. Really good for policies. So if you've got new policies that you need updated, that would be a good use case for that. So once you've tagged the document, and you can add as many invitees, we have no limit to the number of invitees or signatures that you can add to a document, you would click next and move on to the final stage of the preparation, which is the workflow. The workflow essentially controls the experience of the signers once you hit the send button. What you see in here will depend on your enterprise or account settings. So the admin users would select what type of features or functions of secured signing you need to have turned on. For example, video confirmation might not be one that's relevant to you, or it might be. So your admin users will turn them on and off. But every signing process has a due date. Again, you'll have a default setting, but you can overwrite this yourself when you're sending it out. The due date is important not only to let you know whether the signing has been completed within the time frame or not, it also decides how many reminders, automatic reminders, we will send. And again, you can customize the frequency of the reminders, the content of the reminders, and the delivery method of the reminders, either by email or SMS. The signing order is another important one. So who goes first, second, etc. If it's not important, you untick sequential, and then everybody gets their own invite at the same time and they take care of it. If the order is important, then you would select sequential and it will go to the first person, and once the first person signs, to the second, and so forth. So that's sort of the big picture. You could also, as I said, do video signing and schedule your meeting here. I won't demonstrate that today. And then the next level of experience that you can customize is for each signer. So if you have multiple signers, you can tailor the way that they receive the email, the invitation, whether it's email or SMS. You can tailor the email content, if it is by email, by writing personal message or selecting from a template. So if you have a repeatable process, a template is really useful. And again, that's making sure that everyone in the organization are saying the same thing using the same template, which is also controlled in a centralized way. You also have the ability to add attachments. If there's documents that you'd like to add that don't require viewing, or they're for information purpose only, you can add them here. We can also just finally talk about the authentication method. So I'm going to authenticate using a passcode, which is the minimum authentication method, but you can choose the level of authentication that you want, as much as ID verification, where they have to take, sorry, I'm being told, hurry up, a photo of their ID, so you can say that you're dealing with the right person. This will depend on the signing process, the document, and the importance of the authentication. So we can talk about that more if you wish. And then to pick it up, you can also copy people in that are not the signers, reviewers, or senders, but you can automate that it goes to another party at the end of the process or at the start. So we can talk about that more. And this is just the tip of the iceberg in terms of functionality. You hit send, the document goes out for signing. I will show you the signed document in a second. But you can see it is now in progress. So you can see the status of the document is here. You can view the log and you can make changes to the signing process on the fly as well. To do the signing, I'll just go over here. Bear with me. So this is the email invitation that I'll just make that bigger. Here we go. So you will have your branding, so the ability to put your logo in here, and in fact your logo can also be visible in the signing page as well. When I click on it, I'm going to open the document over here in the browser. I'm going to put the code, which was in my email. This is the part that's really very simple. Accept the terms of use. I am going to click on the signature box and I have to capture my signature. So I can do that either by selecting a font, drawing with the mouse, or uploading an image. I can also push it to my phone. As part of the onboarding, if you wish, we can send a signing invitation for your internal signers to upload their signature. So that JPEG that they may be using now can be uploaded and saved, so they don't have to do this every time. So they only would do it the first time, and then it's as easy as just clicking and the system remembers their signature, a bit like this, so they don't have to do it again. So they go through, click on all the signature boxes, and then it is finished. So when it's finished, if there's other people, it then goes to the next person and the next person. However, if the process is done, all the signers will receive a completion email. And that completion email will have the signed document attached. I'm just waiting to receive mine, which won't be long. And within that, here we go. Just gonna open it up. So that's the completion email, which has the signed document attached. I'm just going to download that. And it has the signature there, and you also have what we call the completion certificate as well, which has all the audit log and information in it. So I'm just trying to download the document and open it in PDF, but it's not working. Geoff, I might hand it over because of the time.
Okay, cool.
but that's a really quick overview of the process. Happy to speak to anyone and do a more detailed demonstration, obviously depending on your process.
Thank you. So just want to, before we get to Q&A, just have a quick poll around what time frame would you consider implementing a digital signature platform? So if you just answer on the screen here, get that rolling in. As I say, we deal with organisations that obviously do organisational wide rollouts. Just as many cases we do, you know, particular departments, you know, whether that's the HR department or the procurement department, and start those departments and then look to expand from there. So thanks very much for doing that. Got the results coming in. So yeah, thanks very much. And we have a good range between looking pretty shortly towards longer term. So thank you. Always interesting just to see where these things sit on technology roadmaps. And as I said at the start, we are always aware that there's lots happening in the digital transformation space with your existing systems, but looking at new technology to digitize and automate, which at the end of the day is really around process and productivity gain, reducing costs and taking away manual tasks from individuals so they can be more productive, which is what any organisation is looking for, and probably to a wider extent any sort of society, community or country for that matter. So yeah, now we're into Q&A. I know we do have some questions there, so we want to get to them first. Gal, do you want to answer the first one that's coming here?
Yeah, so the first one is around corporations law need to catch up to permit digital signatures. So whilst I'm definitely not in a position to give any legal advice as such, but I think there has been some recent, I don't know exactly which country you're based, but we have seen some significant improvement and enhancements around company law, and we were actually involved with, invited to be on a panel to provide our feedback maybe about 6 months ago. So we know there's some changes that are coming, and they, you know, in particular, they wanted our input around the type of digital signature technology that would be suited. So we obviously shared what we know, and our founders and CTO has a deep level of understanding and experience within the PKI in the sector globally. So that was exciting, but I agree you do need to check the where you're operating with, and if it is within your allowed, whether it's allowed, whether you need still to have a wet signature or not. So yeah, I agree that there is still some room, but COVID has helped, and we saw the temporary measures that were put in place sort of extended and made permanent in some sectors and countries. So it's trending in the right direction.
And always happy to talk more specifically around that with our experience and from a legal perspective. Next question, perhaps I'll have a go at. For the signature to be able to always be used in documents in the EDRMS that may be there for a long time. So finding a third-party digital solution that can be guaranteed to still show correctly after years and years of being stored in the EDRMS. And yeah, that good question. And yes, that our technology is built for you to, and you know, that will stay in your record, and the digital signature will be there for its lifetime. Again, to touch on the point Gal made around secured signings technology, meaning that we don't need to keep a copy of your document. So therefore the document gets saved in your EDRMS and it's your record, your document, you own it. With our competitors, they need to keep a copy, and therefore that means that you need to continue to be a paid licensee holder or paid subscriber of their technology. Otherwise, we've seen instances where if you're looking to change platform in future or change the way you do things, that there's a reasonably decent fee for getting your documents back. So something you just want to check out, but certainly the digital signature technology is no different to wet signatures in terms of remaining on the document for the lifetime.
Can I just add on that, we've been, as I said, doing it for a long time, and we've got documents that were signed 12 years ago that you can still verify and validate today. So we use long-term digital signatures that allow you to validate. It doesn't expire after 2 years, like some others in the market. So we do support long-term digital signature verification in the document.
Next question, Gail, did you want to cover that one off?
Yes, the question was, can you list what is the standard and technology that uses? So it's X509. I think it's an XI509 digital signature standard, or in the PKI user-based digital signature technology. If you go to our website, under the About Us, there's a security and compliance section, which details exactly how does our PKI digital signature technology, can't speak today, works, with a nice graphic actually that allows you to, thank you, X509 PKI digital signatures. And what we're seeing, especially in the US, in the notary market, they're actually mandating that this is the type of digital signatures that you need to use as the most secure and legally binding. So we are seeing a shift in the market, moving to the technology that we've been using from day one. So it's exciting. All right, another question. If you have several signers and you don't send it in sequential, when person A follows the link to sign, what stops them from signing someone else's area? Is it because they're logging into the secured signing site? Yes. So when you're preparing the document for signing, you designate where each signer's signature needs to go. So even though they can be clicking on the link at the same time, they each have their designated signature placeholder or box. So they will not be overlapping. So even if you were doing witnessing, you say where the witness signature needs to go. So when you're preparing the document, you might not know who the witness is going to be, but you can say where the witness signature needs to go. So there is no overlap over each other. And the signers, while they don't have a secured signing account, they do become a user in our system. So yeah, we create different signers, have different user accounts without having to have a formal login process. It's just the authentication that we utilize. I hope that made sense. That was, I feel like I complicated that answer. Awesome. That's all the questions I can see.
Yeah, there's just one more there around pricing and plans. So I'll quickly cover that off, but obviously we need to have a conversation direct with you to get more into the detail. But there's two factors that make up our pricing plans, and that's the number of users, licenses, and the volume of documents that you would upload for signing. Now, when it comes to users or licenses, it's just those individuals that are preparing and sending a document for signing. So those people that receive a document to sign, they don't need, as Gail says, they don't need a secured signing subscription or login or anything like that. They just receive an email or text invitation to sign, and away they go through the process. So for example, around organisations, it might be administration staff or procurement teams who have the license, but they might be sending documents internally to senior management who will only ever be receiving that document, signing it, and back it goes. So that's how our pricing works. Then we have a monthly plan, which is, you load the organisation's credit card into our platform, and you pay for the number of users and the documents per month, and the credit card's billed monthly. It's sort of our most flexible, but as a result, most expensive price point. And then we have our annual plan contracts where you purchase the number of users and the number of documents for the year ahead. So I hope that made sense again, but that's how we do it. And as I said to start, it's all about making our enterprise level software available for large organizations, but also small and medium ones who are looking to transform digitally as well. So it's and our customer support and the way we onboard is all based around helping customers of all size. So yeah, that's cool. That brings us to a close now. Thanks very much for your time. Always happy to have another conversation. Gal and I, contact details are on the screen now. So jot them down if need be, and always keen to have a conversation around your particular use cases, where your organisation's at in the digital transformation. You know, find out what is your EDRMS, how we can integrate and make their workflow processes a lot easier. It's simple. Thanks very much, and enjoy the rest of your day. Thank you.
Bye, everyone. Thank you.